Half a day, Triton. Welcome to episode 14, the Hall of Fame Show, Part 1, the countdown to the Hall of Fame ceremony, classes of 2020 and 2021. I'm pretty sure all of you already know who I am, but let's just do a quick reminder. I am Rosanna, the ex-woman Claros, and as you can see from my right side, we do have a new host with us. And we all know that Mr. Palmer gives us very well-known nicknames on the show. And now I would like to introduce Nigel, the Yankee Phillips, all the way from Brooklyn, New York. Woo! Nigel, tell us about yourself, please.
Thank you, Rosanna. My name, if you already introduced me, I'm an accounting major, business management. I'm from New York, and I'm just like everybody else, but I just think a little bit more about what I'm doing.
All righty. Thank you, Nigel, so much for being here and for being a part of the show. We're very excited to see what the next couple of episodes have in store. So as you guys can see, we are in a different angle here in the Hall of Fame room. And as you can tell from behind me, from my side, to the left, to the back, whatever angle you may be looking at, you can go ahead and see some of the content from the Football Hall of Fame classes. As you can tell, we have the helmet number 83 with John Borden, the trophies of John Borden, the jerseys and the jacket on the walls, and we also have the picture of John Borden in action. And if you could go ahead and just look towards that jersey and the jacket number, or just kidding, the number is on the jersey. The number was the first number to ever be retired here at UOG. So we are very excited to go ahead and give you a little taste of what we have in store for that story along the way.
Hey, everybody. We're going to be talking today a little bit about the TA and FH video podcast. That stands for the Triton Athletics and Fieldhouse podcast. And we'll be talking about everything Fieldhouse related, anything that goes on in this building, including our alumni and distinguished guests that have been a part of this community. The Hall of Fame show is happening right now. The UOG Athletic Hall of Fame events are on Saturday, November 6th. And we'll be having a major baseball announcement coming shortly. Tonight's guest, as you can tell, this is the John Borden Show tonight, HOFer for football. John is a major donor to the HOF room. As you can see, there's a football display. We have many memorabilia that has been a part of his life, and we want to spend this time to take this time to honor this man here. And tonight's major interview will be, you guessed right, Mr. Borden.
So now moving on to varsity sports news. For more updates on our women's rugby team. Just last week, they had their game and they lost to High Performance in the semifinals on Saturday with a score of 31-0. And they played this game with only 6 players. Although they lost last time when they had challenged High Performance, it was a better score compared to 42-0. And at that time, they did have a full team. Shout outs to our very own Katrina Penaflor, who was named the All-Tournament for UOG. For those of you who don't know, we had her on the show a couple episodes ago, and we had an interview with her. So shout out to you, Katrina, for doing your best. And the Hybrids had finished in 3rd place. Paratodu lost to High Performance with a score of 36-0 in the championship to finish the runner-up. High Performance, also known as the Guam national team, finished the tournament 5-0, only giving up 1 score for the tournament. Vina Terlahi from the High Performance was named the most valuable player for the tournament. UOG will return in the spring to hopefully play 2 more tournaments or leagues. So don't forget to stay tuned for our women's rugby in the spring semester. Moving on to our baseball news. As Nigel had mentioned, we do have some great news in regards to our baseball team. The Triton Athletics press conference will be on Monday, November 1st at 11 a.m. The new UOG baseball coach will be announced live on this YouTube channel from the Hall of Fame room at a Triton Athletics press conference. Several members of the press from Guam are expected to be here, and this reporter will be here as well as to ask a couple of questions for our very new coach. EMSS Dean Lawrence Camacho and the athletic director Doug Palmer will speak at the press conference as well as the new coach himself.
Thanks, Roseanne.
No problem.
As she discussed, we have the Triton Women's Volleyball, and I'll add that we also have the Recreational Club on Women's Volleyball. These clubs start on November 8th in a 4-team league. There will be 8 matches that we played for each team. UOG and GCC students and others at each institution can combine for a team. We prefer students from both institutions, but I have some good news, guys. Faculty and staff can play as well. If the governor gives permission for 25 persons indoor, the league will play. If the governor does not give permission, the league will play in March. Back to you, Roseanne.
Back to me, as he said. So now, as you can see all over the background of us, it has been all labeled John Borden. And I believe it is time for us to go ahead and introduce our very own John Borden, who has been sitting right beside Nigel, keeping him warm. And now we'll be going ahead and introducing John Borden. Woo, woo! Half a day, Mr. Borden. Thank you so much for being here. We are very glad to have you here. It's a one and only Hall of Famer in this very room. Finally seeing the man who's behind all of this awesome all of these awesome items that have been placed in numerous tournaments, championships, and other games. So Nigel will go ahead and kind of just give us a little more information in terms of our Hall of Fame room here for you.
All right. So right now we're live from the Hall of Fame room, where we have tons of memorabilia here that represents the contributions of the people who came before us, in particular, Mr. Borden today. And I want to start to talk about his jersey back here right behind him. It's number 83. It's, once again, as Rosanna said at the beginning, it's the only number that we've ever retired after he wore it, after he went undefeated. We decided in light of his contributions that we're going to put the number up in respect for his contribution. And there are many other memorabilia here. We have trophies. We have some hats that they wore, and also some other things. I'm also welcome to pass it on to Rosanna, or maybe John would like to speak more about it.
Ask the question, I'll give you the answer.
Sure.
Okay, let's go ahead and start off with that. So, Mr. Borden, after playing here for UOG for football, what is your best memory for you in your experience?
Thank you for having me here. I had so many different experiences with the UOG. Of course, when we won our championship in 1975 against the Anderson Bombers, no one thought in the world that we could do that, because prior to the 75, we had a losing season in 74. But we saw that we were getting along really well as a team. And as we were going every game, we were just improving and improving and improving. And then finally, we were tied with Anderson. We were both 8-1, and it was the last game of the season. And so we had a good start of the game, and we just got better and better as the game progressed. And finally, we won the game, and of course, we won our first championship. And that was probably the highlight of my career at UOG. I had a chance to play for 5 years, and so I was able to play on another football championship in 77, and we were undefeated that year. So you put all that together, it was really exciting. And on top of that, I also played basketball for UOG with Coach Stotts, who's behind my right shoulder here. And we won our first championship on basketball. So I had the privilege of being on a 2-time football championship and also one year of basketball championship. And we were also undefeated at that time as well. So I had a lot of highlights to enjoy. There you go. Hand off.
I have a question.
Sure.
What was looking back on, taking stock on everything, out of all the memorabilia, you can also talk about something that's not here. What's your most favorite one?
I got quite a few, of course, but of course, the one I I was selected Athlete of the Year for the island. And we had just won the championship, and I was still playing basketball at the same time. So you put all that together. So I had a pretty good year and a half of playing two sports, football and basketball, and then selected as Athlete of the Year. So that was pretty exciting when I got that award as well.
Thank you, John.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So, John, we heard that you were one of the people who helped nominate some of the people who were a part of the classes of 2020 and 2021 for this Hall of Fame room. So, could you kind of tell us just a little bit about who will be inducted on November 6th?
Prior to that nomination that I did, I told myself when I was chosen as an athlete, I'm sorry to say Hall of Famer, I told myself I'm not going to be the only one because I want to make sure all my teammates who helped me become a champion in football and basketball, it wasn't by myself. So I wanted to make sure my teammates who helped me get through that point, I want to make sure they had the same. I see Benny Diaz is going to be there. Chris Mason, who's right behind you, his picture's right back there. Of course, you know Mark Wesley. He's also a Hall of Famer. So I got quite a few guys who I know I'm very proud that they've also been selected as a Hall of Famer because you cannot do it by yourself. You got to have your teammates. And once you have your teammates and you come together as a group, it works out really great. Okay.
Excellent words from Mr. Borden here. Don't forget it, guys and gals. Thank you for this great interview, Mr. Borden. And now we finish the show with information about the Hall of Fame ceremony on November 6th. The ceremonies will be broken down into two events. The class of 2020 is at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, November 6th, and the class of 2021 will be the same day at noon. The special Terry Stotts event will be at 1:30 p.m. that day. Each show is limited to 25 persons each. Each inductee will have one guest. The shows will be showed live on this YouTube channel. The first show needs to clear out before the second show will start. The Hall of Fame room will be open to each class after their ceremony. Pictures will be taken in the Hall of Fame room, right here. There will be limited room for UOG staff, VIPs, and media at each ceremony. Vaccines must be validated prior to attending the event area. The COVID-19 protocols will be followed before each event as well.
So as Nigel did go ahead and sum up some of the last couple of announcements, we do want to just end this with Mr. Borden kind of giving us just your last few words in regards to UOG football or just about the Hall of Fame or the Hall of Fame room or the UOG athletics in general. So do you have any words you would like to share, Mr. Borden?
Well, I want to stop. I want to keep talking. No, but it's really nice that we got this room in here because there's been a lot of people that have gone through the years that aren't even on the wall yet. And I know Mr. Palmer's trying to find all these people who deserve to be in here. And I hope they're able to do that because if they have a bigger room, you can have to get a bigger hall here. You have to make it bigger for everybody to see. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay.
And I think Mr. Borden wanted to show us his very own piece that we have been waiting to see beyond the plexiglass. And I think Mr. Borden right here will go ahead and just show it up right there. Okay, and I see he's holding it just like that. Is that how you held it on the field? Oh, no? No, he said no. Oh, okay. So as you can tell, it is very beautiful just looking at it in person. And although some of you who cannot see how beautiful it is, we're seeing it, how beautiful it is for you through this very screen. So for next week's show, we will definitely feature at least two of the UOG Athletic Hall of Famers in the UOG Hall of Fame room for interviews. And remember the Triton Athletic Press Conference on Monday from the UOG Athletic Hall of Fame room, who will be the next baseball coach at UOG. Find out right here, live from the Athletic YouTube channel. Okay, guys, so just as we always end the show, we usually would always say Biba UOG and throw up our very lovely Triton sign like this. So on three, we're gonna go give it a try, and we're gonna pose up the camera, and we're good, and we can go ahead and close out the show. So on three, we can go ahead and say Biba UOG, and as we hold up our Triton, okay, let's try it out. 1, 2, 3, Biba UOG.